feels to me like this whole ideology is based on a very toxic stereotypes. So it enforces like sexist stereotypes about what is a woman, what is a man.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much again for showing up. And I really appreciate everybody showing up and watching all these interviews, but I got another one. This one is an amazing one today. I'm actually super excited. So I met Yulia. She reached out to me. I think might have been YouTube or maybe Instagram. I don't remember actually, but she wrote me, and we'll find out from her. But that being said, her story is incredibly fascinating. She's from Russia, which I also think is really awesome that she contacted me because she sees a lot of the stuff that's happening from a whole other space. And mostly I have, American guests on. So today I have Yulia, and she's an amazing person. And I really want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend, and then we'll start to have the interview.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Yulia. I'm 29 years old. I'm a lesbian. I live in Moscow. I'm really nervous right now because my speaking skills are a bit rusty. So hopefully I won't make any embarrassing mistakes. Yeah.
No,
but I'm really happy to be here. I'm really honored, and yeah.
So no, your English is amazing. So just so you know that you have great English, and everybody will understand what you're trying to say. So I appreciate you, and I feel very honored to have you on today. It takes a lot of guts these days to step up and start to have the conversations that we're going to have today, because it's just weird. Like nobody can have a conversation. Yeah. So as a 29-year-old identifying as a lesbian, tell me a little bit about what's going on in Russia around all of this new sort of, I call it an ideology, but around a lot of the new stuff that's happening in the LGBT, mostly the trans community. What do you see?
So the thing is, in Russia, we don't really have like a LGBT community. Everyone on its own, basically. So there are some activists who are I don't know, doing their stuff, but they're like, I don't know, mostly you don't hear anything from them. They have like their own social group, and practically like LGBT community is really quiet here because of the like oppression and constant fighting with the government. Like people who have families, who have like something to lose, who don't have like this fair war. So they tend to keep quiet, and the only like people who are saying something or I don't know, say something against the current laws and helping people who were arrested or fined for LGBT propaganda, because this is like the main law that oppresses LGBT people. Yeah. So these people are mostly like activists who really live to fight the government, and people who just want to live their simple lives, like they have families, they have like their jobs, and they don't want to lose them, they don't want any problems, they like tend to keep quiet. So everyone on its own, and it feels really lonely actually, because you don't have this supporting community here. You live in a very conservative world. You read the news, you watch the news, and you always hear from the authorities, from the government, that LGBT people are like sinners, like they're very evil monsters. That they're like lustful and always horny, always trying to like catch you in their wicked web or something.
Yeah.
So, and this is absurd, and you just I don't know. I just got really tired of this bullshit, and I feel really lonely because I realized that my government doesn't see me as a human at all.
Yeah.
and it is depressing.
Mm.
So yeah, at the same time, I also feel alienated from the Western LGBT community because I don't agree with everything that like the far left is saying.
That's right. Well, I think me and you have an alignment there. As a Westerner, I don't agree with a lot, and so yeah, Russia is totally anti LGBT. So it must be so hard on some level to live there. As can you be you can't really be an open gay woman, can you?
It depends on the city you live in. For
Okay,
example, in Moscow, it's pretty much safe.
okay,
So I don't feel like
okay,
somebody could hurt me in any way.
okay.
Um, and it depends on your workplace, because in some places they will probably, I I don't know if they can fire you on this basis. Maybe if you work with children, like if you're a teacher at school, they can fire you if they find out.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
you're not working with
yeah,
children,
yeah,
it depends on the company. So some companies are quite liberal
yeah.
when there's like younger people working there, then you'll be accepted. But if it's like some, I don't know, if you work at the government library or something
Hmm.
like that,
Hmm.
uh, probably they will frown at you. So it really depends.
Yeah.
Also, I know that it's far more dangerous to be gay in smaller cities. So the smaller the city, the more dangerous it is.
Okay.
And yeah, and also it's more dangerous for gay men than for gay women,
Okay.
because in our culture is more uh, well, the culture is more accepting of lesbians because it seems like I don't know. It may seem like something not very serious, like some sort of fetish thing. Also, girls are generally more affectionate. So when two girls are walking together or holding hands, they can be seen just like normal friends. So
That's right.
nobody can suspect anything. Well, but if two adult men are walking together holding hands, they will probably get some backlash. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think that's also here in America. Don't be fooled. We still have we have states that are not okay. If they saw two men walking down the street, they freak. But if two women, it's the same. I think that's a societal thing at a whole, right? That people don't feel so threatened by women as they feel threatened on some level by men. So that being said, so are you in a big city like Moscow? That's where you
Yeah,
are?
yeah.
Yeah, so you feel comfortable. Now that being said, I would love to know. So, as you know, here in this country, we are dealing with a new phenomenon on some level of trans, and it's exploded tremendously. And it's exploded in a way that me, as a transsexual man, and many of us, not just me, are a little bit like, wait a minute here. Like, why is this happening so quickly? And why is it happening to young people so fast? And why is it proportionately more young girls than young boys? And there's a means in a way that's happening here that they've also captured language, and they've captured this idea that they can tell everybody else in the LGBT community how to live their lives or how to identify, or, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that from my own community. And I'm wondering how is it affecting you over there in Russia? Or is this Western sort of ideology around trans, is it affecting you over there?
Uh, yeah, it actually, like me personally, it affects me deeply,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
and
Okay,
in a
great.
negative way, because I always felt like when I was a bit younger, I felt that there's a place in the world where I will be accepted, where I will be safe. And I was like dreaming about immigration, like someday I will move and I will have my right to marry my girlfriend and stuff like that. But recently, um, I started to watch more of the news from the Western world, from the Western LGBT community, mostly like from USA, and I was really I started to feel uncomfortable because I don't agree with this trans ideology thing on many levels, and a lot of this stuff really, I don't know, rubs me the wrong way.
No,
Yeah.
I get it. Can you elaborate maybe a little bit? Like, what does that mean to you as a lesbian? Do you, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what is it that rubs you the wrong way? I guess is my
Um,
question.
First of
Yeah.
all, it feels to me like this whole ideology is based on a very toxic stereotypes. So it enforces like sexist stereotypes about
Mhm.
what is a woman, what is a man, how you should act, how you should dress to pass as one, to be one, and it really feels like I consider myself also like a feminist, so it really seems sexist to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it enforces these stereotypes, and also as a lesbian, I found myself alienated or erased in some way because the Pride months when all the companies are celebrating LGBT people. Recently, all the content was mostly about transgender people, and even if I see like a picture about lesbians, there is a high chance that one of these lesbians is a trans woman. And don't get me wrong, I think that trans women can be amazing people, can be like really beautiful and kind and just great
Yeah.
people. But when I look for, I don't know, representation of myself, I feel excluded when I see pictures that don't represent my experience. And
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent.
so
Yeah,
um,
excellent, excellent. I hear you, and I have a lot of gay women, lesbian friends, and they feel exactly the way you do. And I don't understand why people are not acknowledging your feelings. How come we can only acknowledge trans women's feelings around this, and we're not acknowledging actual, biological women like yourself who has this feeling, which you're entitled. You are actually entitled to have this feeling, and we should hear you. We should all hear you and listen to you. You're not transphobic because you're saying I don't care. They are trans women, and that's okay. But for me, I don't necessarily see me represented. Now it's a trans lesbian with a right. It's well,
yeah,
where are the
it's a different thing. It's not a
yeah
bad thing, but it's a
no.
different thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's exactly right. I'm 100% on board with you with that. Why aren't we representing trans lesbians here? And then we
Mhm.
have lesbians like you, right? Because, for example, I was in the gay man scene, but I never didn't acknowledge my trans maleness, right? Like I'm not a biological man, so I'm a trans gay man for lack of a better expression. And that was okay. The gay men were totally okay with it because I acknowledged my transness. I'm wondering why do you think that they're not acknowledging that these are trans women? Trans women are not women. Trans women are trans women. And that's how I feel. That's just my opinion. You're a biological woman and they're a trans woman. So why are we not acknowledging the biology part? Do you understand my question?
Yeah. Um, Actually, I don't really understand it either because I don't think that facts are offensive in any way. I like being different from like the majority is also not a bad thing,
Mhm.
and I think that accepting your own body, accepting your own like your own life and your own experience is actually a very healthy thing to do. Just to accept that yes, you were born like this, like you were born a man and then you walked this path. It was difficult. You had this pleasant and unpleasant experience that led you to this point when you can be a trans woman, and that's great. I don't think I don't think that you should like erase your past or um, play pretend like you're like the other
but we're
simple
not.
girls. Yes,
Right, but
because
we're not. I don't understand it either, friend. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't understand it. I don't understand. I am not ashamed of my history of being born female because I was
yeah, that's
born.
great.
I was not assigned anything. I was born female. I'm actually a biological female who chose to take this space. That's the most powerful thing you can do in the world, is to acknowledge your reality. And
Yes.
I feel like this new trend, because it's new. You know, I've been in this community for 30 plus years. All of this stuff you're seeing, my friend, is new. We used to accept our transness, and we didn't try to say we were biological men and women. I don't understand it. So for me, it feels very disrespectful to you, my friend. It feels disrespectful that trans women are like, well, we're women too, move over. No, you're not. You have a different experience than Yulia has. And so as a biological woman, which you are, and you are attracted to other women, right? Let's just say you might not, I'm not saying you are or not, but let's say you choose not to date trans women because they're just not what you want, and then you get called transphobic for not being attracted to a transgender woman. Do you find, has that ever happened to you? Has anyone ever said to you, you have to be attracted to a trans woman or you're not?
Um, not really, because I don't know many.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know any trans women like in real life. I only
Right.
know
Okay.
trans men.
Right.
So I have trans men acquaintances, but not trans women.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
Right. Right. But here in America, they have a saying that if you don't date a trans woman or a trans man, you're transphobic. And I push back on that because that's not true. Sexuality is innate in our bodies, and whatever we're attracted to, we're attracted to. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
also like biology wise, like female bodies smell different, they feel
Thank you.
different.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I guess there is a like biology is a very important part of like sexuality and your sexual preferences, not preferences, but you know, you don't choose to like what you like. So
That's
yeah,
right.
I don't agree with that statement that is transphobic, because you actually don't control your heart and your
That's right.
desires. So
So I heard you say that you have more trans male friends. Do you think there's more trans men in Russia than trans women?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just like my experience.
Okay, sure. Sure. So how about transitioning in Russia? Is it something that you know is something that people can do there?
They could for sure do
Mhm.
it maybe like 5 years ago. Right now, it's getting more complicated because just this year we got like we had this really uh, really unpleasant law, the law that is against LGBT propaganda. What it means is basically you can't say that you exist, and you can't publish any content that depicts a homosexual relationship uh, in any way that is like normal or good. So you can publish something that shows how evil and awful gays are, but you can't publish anything with just like a lesbian character that just lives her life and acts normal. So and this law for like it exists. I don't really remember, but like for 10 years already, maybe a little bit less. But it had this nuance that this law was created to protect children from LGBT propaganda. So you could publish anything LGBT related with like this side note that it's 18 plus content, and it was okay. So actually everyone was still like publishing books and comics and showing movies in theaters, just like with this side note that is 18 plus content. But this year they've decided that adult people should be also protected from this horrible LGBT propaganda. So uh, they made the law like absolute, like you can't actually show any content. We don't see any like any consequences, any major consequences like right now, because it's a really fresh piece of news. But probably it will affect our community and our life in the future. We'll see. Hopefully, hopefully they'll forget about this law or something. But who knows?
So I wonder, that's very fascinating that this law just got made. Do you think they're watching what is happening over here in the Western part of the world with sort of the uprising of trans children and the influence on some level of social media and the really heightened, so there's a very heightened awareness of trans kids and trans youth here in the Western world. Do
Yeah,
you think
I don't think that they're actually reacting to it. I
Okay.
think they're just, you know, like this poor people in Russia who are never outside of the country, who are never traveling abroad. Their voices, like they try to like get their support. So they're pushing buttons like uh, you should be afraid of the West. You should be afraid of gay people or trans people, and it's working actually, because the major popularity in Russia is very conservative, is very um, very homophobic, like deeply like some are very religious, like Orthodox Christians, stuff like that. So no, I don't think that our government actually reacts to the problems that you're facing in the USA. But I think that what is going on in USA is making things worse for our like hope to uh, uh, to like alleviate this these harmful laws, and to make people see our community as like as a community of normal people who are understandable and likable and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why it's also really saddens me, because if they look at the news and see all this stuff about children transitioning, about teachers getting fired for misgendering students, stuff like that, they really like they think, yeah, this LGBT community is nuts. We don't have to support them. So and people like simple lesbians or simple gay people, or they're just suffering the consequences, because it really makes it more difficult for conservative people to accept us if they see all this news from the West. Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful statement you said, because I believe that. I actually believe that, because as you know, the whole world watches us, right? We're the United States of America. We're the
Yeah.
most powerful. Not for long, but that being said, we're the most powerful, and so what we do here really does affect the rest of the world. So I think it's really amazing to hear your perspective on that. And I wonder sometimes, how are we being perceived? How is our transgender community being perceived? And so what you said is what I think people are seeing. They're seeing this sort of insanity of firing a teacher because they wouldn't go along with the child's space, or
Yeah.
what else
Yeah.
yeah, and the transitioning of children. As you know, I'm very outspoken about that, and I don't believe in it, and I don't believe that a child knows they're trans enough to have some medical intervention. This is what you're seeing, right?
Yes, and also the thing that saddens me is that our government is always like um, trying to scare people with these stories about children changing their sex, and that those evil LGBT people won't let your children alone. They just want to uh, get you to your children, to steal them and corrupt them and everything like that. And of course it's absurd, but if you look at this news from USA about transitioning kids, you realize that maybe they these absurd scary stories, they actually have a point. And that is really depressing, because
It makes me so mad. It actually makes me so mad, because I completely can see how they're using it. And I've said it all along. They're going to take the children, because once you start messing with children, I don't care what community you're in. When you start doing things to children, the whole world sees that. And that
yeah.
becomes a different level of stuff. And that looks to the world like we're indoctrinating children, which I believe on some level we are indoctrinating children. And when you start doing surgeries and putting medicine, of course the rest of the world's going to use, especially places like Russia and
Yes.
places like China, and the places that already don't like us, and that we're so openly pretty much LGBT here in the West. They're going
Mhm.
to totally use it. And of course, if someone sees that, it looks insane. It actually looks, what do you
Absolutely.
mean you're operating on on a 10-year-old? What does it mean you're giving drugs to? We have 13-year-old kids getting their breasts removed. I know know that. And there's people in this country denying it. They're saying it's not happening, when we literally can see it on the internet. So
It's really, really sad.
it's so sad, my friend. And it's so sad that, we're rolling back our rights, and we're not helping people like you in other countries. We're not helping to move it's already hard enough to be a gay person, I'm sure, in Russia, but now forget being a trans person. I bet that's just going to be even looked at more insane now on some level. Um, what do you so tell me a little bit about your background. Like, you were born in Russia, and all of that. And when did
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
to realize that you were gay? When did you start to see that?
Well, actually, that's quite a funny story, because yeah, I was born in Russia, in Moscow, and I live here all my life. Uh, so yeah, my family is quite mm, quite an accepting and open-minded family. So I'm lucky. I'm really lucky.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
and I don't know. From the early childhood, I was finding girls really, really attractive. Like I was always looking at like pictures from gamers magazines with like hot pirate girls, or I don't
Awesome.
know, hot cowboy girls. And uh, I just thought that it's normal. I thought that well, of course, like these sexy hot girls, they like represent sex, so it's normal that you feel some kind of attraction to them. I just thought that it happens to everyone. uh, so I never thought that it's kind of unusual. So moving forward, when I was about 14 years old, I actually started dating a guy, and he was older than me. He was 20, and he took me with him on many parties. And I realized that I feel really like jealous when he talks to other girls and they laugh at his jokes and stuff like that. But it was also kind of weird because I trusted him, and I knew that we have like a really close relationship and he wouldn't cheat on me. And uh, and then I realized that I'm jealous because I want these girls to talk to me and laugh at my jokes. Like, come on,
Excellent.
girls, he's not that good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, it took me a while to realize that I'm a lesbian, but then I broke up with him and started dating girls. I guess. Yeah, that's it. Also, I was in a really long relationship, like 9 years. I was dating one girl, and mm, partially we broke up because her mom was really homophobic and unaccepting, and they were really close to each other. And well, it was like she has to make a choice to be with me or to stay with her mom and save their relationship. And she just couldn't do it. So yeah,
That's sad.
it was really sad.
Yeah.
Um,
That's sad. Yeah.
uh,
I think we forget. I mean, we're very privileged over here. And I think some of the things that make me mad as an older, or not necessarily mad, but a little bit upset, is I think that the younger generation doesn't understand there are still places around this world that we can't beat walking down the street holding hands. You mostly can do that here in the United States. And, we have so many rights as, especially, trans people have a lot of rights here, more than it sort of gets spoken about. Like, we have this idea that we don't, trans rights are human rights. Well, we have a lot of rights here. And so do gay people. I mean, we're on some level kind of free here. So, it's interesting to hear stories of other countries where I don't necessarily think you're so free, and that, look at your girlfriend. She had to pretty much choose her but that happens here. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen here, but I think we have less pushback than what we used to have. And so today, as you live as a gay woman there in Russia, do you feel like you have to hide it at any point?
um, I don't have to hide it because I'm. I came out to my family, and my family is like amazing and really accepting and loving. They're
Yeah.
just
Right.
amazing people. But I also understand that I have no future here because
Mm,
I can't get married, and
that's right.
and I can't have children. Well, I can, of course. There are like some ways you can get a child. You can get pregnant like the
That's right.
traditional way, and
Yeah.
then raise this child with your girlfriend. But it's a really dangerous like situation, because you have to train your child to lie to everyone else, saying that your second mom is your aunt, or I don't know, some
Wow.
sort of relative, because in schools and well, it's basically illegal to like to be gay. So
Right. Right.
you have to hide it from everyone. And
Wow. Wow.
when you're alone, it's kind of easy. But if you have a child that that communicates with the outside world,
Right.
and have to meet different kind of people, like conservative teachers, like other adults who are not your family friends.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a really difficult situation, and it
Wow.
I don't think that I could handle it, because there's so much, I don't know, pressure and paranoia. And I don't know. I would be really, really scared that the government could take away my child, or if my
Wow.
child will get bullied. I don't know. It's just a couple of things that pop up in my mind, when I try to imagine this kind of life.
Ah,
Um,
that's
and
sad. That's
yeah,
actually makes me sad, and that's also we have so much privilege here. You know, it's why when I hear these stories, people need not forget here how we have the privilege to have a. I can have a kid. I'm a transsexual man, and you know, with a wife and a child. And in your country, I might get my child taken away from me. That's just so scary. And so that's going to lead into this next question I sort of have for you. Here in America, we have this new trans space that's happening so fast that you know we have to what's called affirmation, which means affirm, right? We have to
mhm,
affirm if a child says they're trans. Even a parent can't really say, well, wait a minute here, what does that mean? You know, you could actually have your child on some level taken away from you here in America if you don't affirm their gender choice. And that's very similar to what you're saying to me right now, but you're in a gay space and this is a trend. I mean, this is happening in this country. I just had an interview with a mother whose
yeah,
child
yeah,
has been taken away from her because she would not affirm the child at 10 years old, at 10
yeah.
years old saying they're
That's
trans.
absurd.
What
Yeah,
is that? What do you see what I'm saying? This is in
yeah,
America.
yeah,
This is happening here right now. And what do you I mean, I guess I know what you think about it, but
yeah,
do you
yeah.
know? Do you all know in Russia? Do you all know that these things are happening over here?
Many of the people know, yeah. Um,
Wow. And how do they
so,
feel about it? Do you know, like your group of friends or your LGBT community? What do they
um,
feel about stuff that's happening here?
actually, there are like my friends, my group of friends. Most of them are like really. They're really good people, and they are trying to be as accepting as possible, and that's why they tend to eat up this gender
Mm,
ideology, because they all are like not trans and not gay. They're usually just like really progressive and
yeah.
creative and um, amazing, loving, kind people. But in their pursuit of kindness and acceptance, they want to be like the best version of themselves. They think that they have no right to criticize what is happening in USA, and they also think that like people should have all the opportunities and all the rights, and they're not looking at the nuances and consequences of some of these decisions. Uh, and yeah, they're also, I think they're scared of being transphobic and like
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that that is what's happening. And also there are people like more conservative. It's probably like my father and uh,
Yeah.
maybe like my sister, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They are they're terrified of what's happening, and also they tend to uh, look at it like it's some sort of absurd theater or circus or something like that.
Oh
So
my
there are
God.
jokes about some non-binary transgender people, it's a woman, but she's got a beard, and
Yeah.
she's talking about politics, and ha ha ha. That's what Western world looks like, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think that it's not funny. I think it's kind of sad, but yeah, there are people who know what's going on, who watch the news, and they all just laugh at that.
Wow. Wow. See, I knew it. I knew people are laughing at us because part of this is absurd as far as I'm concerned. As a transsexual person, I find it kind of insulting on levels that, I have a disorder. My disorder is a mental disorder that I have accepted, and I'm okay with it because I fixed it, right? So, I mean, really, that's really what trans is. It's in a mental health space, and it's something, and that you need to fix by fixing the outside, sort of, to walk the world, and then you're done, and then that's it. That's it. That's really what trans is, and then you fix it and you move on, and you become a person in the world. But now, for me as a transsexual person and an older person, I kind of knew that the world must be seeing something that looks a little bit crazy, because it does. We have women walking around with beards and mustaches here and saying, that they're women, and whatever. Again, if that's your space, but you must understand that people are not necessarily going to accept that, and that they're going to push back on that, and that we all, on some level, in the whole LGBT community, are subjected to this new space that makes fun of us. It does not respect us. It makes fun of us. And you just said it right there, which is not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward, and it's not going to let people see us as normal on some level, right? Normal and not crazy. We're not crazy. We're not. We're not.
And I also think that there's this nuance that, of course, if like a bearded man decides that he wants to wear dresses and wear makeup, that's totally okay. That's like his choice. He can enjoy the clothes he likes, and he can enjoy any kind of makeup, and he can be as creative as he wants. But saying that he's a woman because he wears makeup or wears dresses, and trying to prove to the world that that's what woman is, that part is fundamentally wrong, and that's what makes it absurd. Because one thing is to enjoy life, enjoy the thing you can do, and experiment with your looks, and be free about it. And you can look like that, and have any kind of hobbies you like, and that's absolutely okay. But when you're trying to change definitions of such fundamental words, and try to push this new definition to the whole universe, that will be met with resistance and with a backlash, and people will not accept it, and they will also not accept everything that surrounds this phenomena. For example, lesbians
That's
or
right.
people, because we're in the same boat, and that's what makes it this situation really difficult and really messy, and that's why it saddens me. So
No, you're right. You just said it, and that's what I say. Like this why is it LGBTQIA plus blah, blah, blah? Why are we lumped into that? I'm not part of that new trans thing. I don't believe in a lot of things that they say and do. And I think what you're saying to me, the same thing. You sort of feel like you're lumped into it, and we all get lumped into it, yet we're not part of that new message. And so, here in America, we have this new idea of what is a woman, right? That question became the question of 2022. Did that question get over to Russia?
In some ways, I guess, of course, if you ask people on the streets, they will give you the straight answer that it's human female, and they will probably look at you and think that you're kind of weird. But
you're cracking me up.
But at the same time, there are really these feminist social groups that I was part of for some time. So these activists, they try to imitate Western communities. they try really hard to imitate them. So they also are all about this new trans ideology, non-binary people. So, and that's why I was banned actually from a couple of these Russian feminist communities, because I was starting to I was trying to start a discussion uh, uh, to like maybe well, just asking questions actually, like how can you be a feminist and non-binary at the same time? So if you don't think that you're a woman, how can you fight for women's rights and stuff like that? But it was all met like it was some sort of aggression from my side, so I was like immediately banned. It's really sad because I'm not that kind. I'm not a troll. I'm not the kind of person that will be trying just to be annoying, and I don't want to make people angry. I just want to have a discussion, that's all. Because there are things that I don't understand, and I was trying to understand them
but they wouldn't let you. So what
yeah.
I'm hearing is that they wouldn't let you have the conversation. They said either you get on board with
Yeah.
what we say, or you're not going to be having this conversation. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's correct. And their like core argument is that we're really tired of oppression, so we don't owe you any we don't owe you anything. We don't have to explain anything to you because we're already very tired of this oppression. So if
What? I
that's
mean,
that's
what? First off, let me tell you. Well, I'm just going to say it to the world. Oppression happens because people don't understand. So that's why oppression happens. But the only way to get over oppression is to educate the world, have conversation, have nuance, have what you wanted to do, which was have the
absolutely agree.
conversation. They're oppressing themselves even more by not having the conversation and pushing back on anyone who wants to. That's not feminism, by the way. That's a cult-like behavior,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
they've completely co-opted feminism. They've co-opted womanhood on some level. You're right, co-opted biology and saying biology. I don't. Oh, that's the question I want to ask you. So, how is biology met over there? I mean, meaning, do people believe? Because here they're trying to say biology isn't real, and they're trying to say they're trying to say biology is a social construct. So,
No, it's not that bad in
oh,
Russia. We're
okay.
still like
You're still good with biology.
yes, yes.
It might come over there soon, so be prepared.
Actually, I think I have the feeling that the situation in Russia will be also absurd, but in another sense, because we have like this Orthodox Christianity
Okay.
tradition, really like um, gaining power more and more.
Oh,
So I guess they maybe will have some changes in like textbooks about biology. Uh, I don't know, some passages about sins or something like that.
yeah.
So I get the feeling that this is the course our country is taking, like more towards medieval times. Uh,
Wow.
but
Wow.
yeah.
That's scary. Well, I
Mm,
mean, the problem is that I think when you push so hard on an ideology, which is
yeah.
happening here, you're going to get pushed back even more. And so that's what I think might happen here is that we're pushing some ideology and it's going to actually, you know what I mean, like kind of backflip on us, and it's not going to push us forward. It's going to push us backwards. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so too.
yeah, I do. It's interesting. It's really great to get sort of your sort of idea perspective on from so far away, and your perspective on what's happening over here. So that being said, before we're going to go here in a little bit, but is there something that you feel is really important as a person who lives in Russia and who is a gay female? Do you think that there's something that you want to say out there that you see that you find to be kind of, because I think it's why you reached out to me. There's something you
Yeah.
see that you find disturbing.
Yeah, like probably I already said it, but I will maybe repeat myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really important. First of all, it's really lonely to be a gay person in a conservative country and have no like real support around you, and also see all this absurd stuff happening in the West, and realizing that if you're not part of this circus, you will be like you will be deemed as transphobic, as a bad person, and it really hurts. It really hurts, and you feel really, really lonely, and like you have no place on earth where you will be welcomed, because it's either like be with this insane trans ideology, accept it and live by its rules, or I don't know, go to conversion therapy and stop being gay.
Those are your options.
Yeah.
I mean, that I'm not laughing. I'm laughing so I don't cry, because it's actually disgusting. It's gotten over to your country. It has. It actually has. Those people that you were in a group with, those women or however they identify, didn't want to hear what you had to say. And
Yes.
that's scary. That is actually scary to me.
Because like our youth, they use internet, they pretty much speak English, so they're influenced by Western culture and everything that is going on in the US, and
yeah,
all this trendy stuff is like they're they're hopping on this train because yeah.
Wow.
Because that's what's progressive.
No, right. That's right. It is. It's actually
Yeah.
the new. I mean, it's pretty much all over. I mean, you can probably go to most countries now, and like Sweden, Finland, all of these different. Even in the Ukraine, I know trans people. I got a trans guy friend, but that being said, I do think the internet influences these young people on, because they're all speaking this weird language, or they're all doing the sort of same thing, and they all have this sort of idea what trans has become an identity, like it's an identity choice. It hasn't become, it's not what it was when I transitioned. It was because I have a problem in my mind that needs to be fixed through mental health and medicalization. But a lot of these new trans people don't even care about looking like a man or a woman, or they want to be more non-binary, and that's why I don't really relate to it. And so I think like these kids are going on, you just said it, they're going on the internet, and I think it makes them feel a part. Do you think it's because it makes them feel a part of something?
Yeah, I think it actually makes them feel loved, and like they find the place where they will be celebrated, and it actually it feels really rewarding right now, like to go along with this ideology, because you're automatically is a good person, like morally good. You automatically get this huge community that supports you, and if you're identifying as non-binary, or I don't know, demi boy, demi girl, whatever a gender, you're gaining like attention and respect, and
right.
I don't know, you just feel like loved and special, and yeah, that's actually it's it's what everybody wants. So I can totally I totally understand why people are doing that. And
Yeah, me too. Me too. I totally get why. I think what you said is what I think with. And so that being said, the pronoun thing is huge over here. Is it over there too? The pronoun thing?
no, not really. I
Okay,
mean,
interesting. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's not really a sort of so here. It's very much entrenched into the trans sort of space now.
Mm.
And now we have a thing like I'm watching all the children on the internet do like neo pronouns, and like there's 87,000 different genders, and somebody takes on the frog. They call themselves a frog pronoun. I'm like, what's happening? I mean, what's happening? It's sort of on some level mental illness, I think, or something is
I think it's
amiss.
more of a subculture thing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it's really, I guess, interesting for teenagers and kids to like.
Mm, mm,
In the past, they were like making their OCs, like original characters, and
yeah,
drawing them,
yeah,
and mm, I don't know, writing texts on some role play forums. Like that's my childhood, and
yeah,
I remember that vividly. And I just think that it's like something like that. What is happening now? They're just creating new pronouns and pretending to be some sort of character, and I guess for them it's like a subculture or a way to gain friends,
yeah,
and just a fun way to spend their time. But the difference here is that creating original characters and writing, I don't know, writing fanfics won't get you to the hospital, and it has nothing to do with
yeah.
hormones or
That's right.
surgeries or any of that dangerous stuff.
That's right.
But when you're like having fun with your trans friends, uh, that's uh, that's one step. That's one step, and you will be trying to experiment with hormones and trying to change your body, because that's like logical continuation of
Right.
mm, yeah,
So
that's what.
do you think on some level the sort of space of changing their pronouns is sort of like a lead in to eventually they become trans and they want to start doing medicine and transitioning with surgery. Do you think you know what
I
just does that
I
make
think
sense?
that might happen. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's like everyone
No, of
who's
course not.
experimenting. Of course not.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think that
yeah,
it's easier
yeah,
to uh, it's easier to start to think that maybe you're trans if you're already in that community.
yeah,
And if you're a teenager, it's there's a lot of body issues for like for everyone happening, because it's a really difficult time for a young person. And if you're already in that subculture and that community, and you start having problems with your body, when you start to feel depressed
hmm,
and nervous, and you don't understand what is happening to you, that's when you can mm, make some really bad
that's
decisions.
right. That's
Yeah,
right. I agree with you. And also, just if you're around a group of friends, it's easily
yeah,
to get swept up in this idea. One last question I want to or talk about is we have a thing in this country now called detransitioners, and
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
I know.
familiar with that, so that's a thing that's rapidly expanding and it's not good. I mean, there's so many kids who became trans and then decided that they made a mistake. Um, have you seen that?
In Russia, no, because
Mm,
actually, uh, I don't really we don't have this trend.
yeah,
It's
interesting.
not really like it's hard to come out as trans.
Mhm.
It's really difficult, and our society is really like conservative, and I guess that's why it's easier not to be trans. But people who are trans, they still have the opportunity to change their body, but only after 18 years old. And the whole process takes about 4 or 5 years, I guess. Actually, I talked a bit to my acquaintance who's married to a trans man. So it is possible. We don't know what will happen in the future because of the course our country is taking. But right now it is still possible, and we have some doctors who are specialists in that area, but it's not widely known. So if you're a teenager, you probably have no idea how it works, where you should go. So I guess we don't have any detransitioners here, or because it's trans people are really small percentage of population, and the people who get to these professionals, they have they're really strong-willed, and they lived their life with this idea in mind that they have to change their body, so they will feel happy. So I guess in a way this situation is more healthy, although I don't agree with our our whole population being homophobic or transphobic or whatever. Of course, I don't agree with that, but the thing that these opportunities they're not widely known, and that you have to make research, and you have to spend a lot of time to get what you need.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it was for me. That's the problem. That's why we have detransitioners here and we don't have them there, because you have to go through a system. They make it hard for you. And the reason they do that is because they want to make sure that you're making the right choice. This is literally like a huge life-changing. But here in America, you don't have to go through that system there. And also you can transition at 10. You can transition at 4. That's absurd.
That is absolutely absurd, and it's horrifying. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
Because
I agree.
Especially for young girls, it's really, really easy to feel like you're a man.
There you go.
I went through this phase as well, because inner misogyny is a thing, and we live even if we have open-minded parents, like myself, I have a really open-minded parents, but you still live in the society with surrounded by these harmful stereotypes that a girl should be feminine, you should be tender and beautiful, and I don't know, a lot of things. You don't see many great female characters in media, when I was growing up, I was always watching at some stupid male cartoon relief characters, and I associated myself with them because I was kind of clumsy, and I was short, and I don't know. I never associated myself with any female characters because there weren't too many to choose from, and that's the problem. Not my gender identity. It's the sad truth is that women are still not equal to men in some ways. It's getting better, but it's still a problem. And in the media as well, we don't have as many reverse diverse and great female characters. Hopefully it will change soon, but right now it's still a problem. And it actually affects young people and people who live in more conservative families. It affects them even more. So I absolutely understand the desire not to be a female because you don't fit into those strict stereotypes, and you don't want to be a princess, you don't want to be like a damsel in distress, or I don't
Yeah.
know, a prom queen, whatever. And especially if you're at the same time, if you're gay, it makes it even worse because you want to date girls, but you think maybe if I would be a guy, it will be easier for me or something like that. I know that sounds stupid, but
No, it
that
doesn't.
that's what I was thinking when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
because I didn't know any gay women, and I was surrounded by straight girls, and I just had no opportunity to date anyone, and I was thinking a lot about well uh, how it would be great to be a man, stuff like that.
Yep.
And yeah, also um, we shouldn't forget that there are also some mental disorders and mental problems that could
Right.
be
That's right.
like uh, maybe you're not transgender, but you're just depressed, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
that's why you hate your body, and that's
That's right.
why nothing feels right because you're depressed.
Yep.
It can happen, so you have to sort out your, like, you have to go to therapy, you have to really understand what's going on inside your head, inside your brain. You have to make sure that the problem is actually like your gender dysphoria and
That's right.
not something else, because I already told you about it in the email. I have a border personality disorder,
Yeah.
and BPD is known to have like a huge impact on your
Yeah.
self-image.
That's
So
right.
I
That's
don't
right.
associate myself with my body. I
Yeah.
don't have a clear image of myself inside my
Yeah.
head. So it's really difficult for me to like imagine how I look like, imagine what kind of person I am. And it also like gives, it also can give you the wrong idea that maybe something wrong is with your gender because you don't feel like yourself, you don't feel like yourself when you look at the mirror. And yeah, I I can imagine how it can happen
Yeah.
easily,
Of
but
course.
BPD is absolutely different thing, and yeah, you have to uh, like uh, learn how to live with it through therapy. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's really important to make sure that you're before transitioning. It's really important to make sure that you really need it, and
That's right. That's right.
that you don't have any problems that
That are other
that
than that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
that's right. You know how many detransitioners? All of them have BPD. Like I was like, what? Like it's like actually they're not diagnosing the right thing. They're being misdiagnosed because they're not even being diagnosed. They're just saying I'm trans, right? Like it's if you just said you were trans and nobody's there's no mental health care attached to it. So you know, wow. I just think everything you said really is very powerful because I do think images, and especially maybe somebody who has BPD could see have different way of thinking about something. And if there's no images, like you're saying, no characters of strong women, and then all you see is strong men, maybe you're being, you know, there's so many layers to this, my friend, just so many layers. And I think
yeah, yeah,
it's getting mixed up and it's getting, you know, into a space that's kind of dangerous now. I think, you know, and I do think some of it is over there where you're at. from what you're telling me, the fact that you got kicked out of a group because you wouldn't sort of get on board and you were asking questions, like you're not allowed to ask questions anymore. It's just,
Yeah, that's stupid.
that's just going to make us, yeah, it's stupid and it's immature and it's just going to ruin so much of our rights that we have. So with that, my friend, we're going to end our interview because we could talk all day. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. I can talk to you all day. So I really appreciate you. And I think a lot of people out there will appreciate that you are, just
Thank
speaking
you
up.
very much. I'm really
Yeah.
really honored, and I'm really glad, and it means a lot to me, really, because I already feel less lonely, and
Oh,
I'm really happy that you've answered me, and yeah,
no,
you
you're
actually made
sweet.
me really happy.
Oh,
Uh,
that makes me so happy. Look, we'll stay in touch with each other. And I hate that you feel lonely. That breaks my heart. It shouldn't be that way. We're supposed to be a community of love and diversity, and that's just a lie. That's not where our community lies. We're not diverse and we're not inclusive at
yeah, and
all.
I think there's nothing wrong with friendly discussions
Of course.
when people don't agree with each other. It doesn't mean that they have to be enemies or that they have to like fight
It's
each other.
crazy.
I think that you can disagree with your friends, and you still can be friends. So yeah.
Jeez, what a concept. Oh my God. Wow, we can't even. It's so crazy. Don't worry, friend. It's going to come back around. And then we'll have another
Absolutely.
interview in 2 years. And we're like, remember when everybody was crazy? Anyway,
Yeah.
friend, thanks everybody
Yeah.
for watching. And I appreciate you. And you can reach out. And if Yulia has a Instagram or whatever, she'll give it to me and we'll put it here. And thank you everybody for watching, and like and subscribe and comment, and comment and send Yulia some love because she needs it right now, as we all do. And then I'll catch you guys on the next one.